This chunky little boy is my home-built NAS. This sucker is big. It's in a big old case. It's an Antec 900, which I believe is a full tower. This thing has been running for quite some time, and the purpose of this video is going to be doing a complete change on the system. So I'm going to take a real quick look here and show you that basically what's in here is a mess. So let me just real quick go over here. There we go. This is a mess. As you can probably see through the window here, this is not good. Definitely not good. So what we're going to wind up doing here is we're going to be doing platform change, among other things. Let me see if I can get this cover off here real quick. You take a real quick look at this stuff that's in here. Put it out there. And let me try the other camera here. There we go. This is a mess. This is definitely a mess. Now, the thing about this is, as you can see, there's cables everywhere. And I have 4 drives in here, a pair of 4 terabyte and then a pair of 8 terabyte. Each one is in RAID 1 configuration. The platform is a very old AMD ASUS 5400, which is, that architecture's now, I think, pushing 11 years old. So I've got a old power supply in here that I'm probably going to reuse. But the biggest issue with this thing is this case is almost 19 inches tall. Excuse me, it's almost 18 inches tall. It's almost 19 inches this way, and it's about a little over 8 inches in width. Plus the case is is not light at all. This sucker, it weighs this thing weighs 18.5 pounds all by itself. So it's chunky. By the time you put in the drives and whatnot, it literally weighs a little bit over 30 pounds. So what we're going to do is I'm going to basically redo this whole thing in a different case on a different platform. But all I really have to do is, oh, the other thing also is that trying to get drives out of here is a hot mess. It's absolutely a hot mess. If we go back real quick, and I'll show you here, to get the drives out of here, this thing has 2 cages in it that both take 3 drives. And what you have to do is you have to undo all these thumb screws here. There's 4 for this cage, there's 4 for the other cage, and there's the same number of screws on the other side. You undo all of these, and then you can pull the cage out forward from the case if you need to replace the drive. So that's also a problem. So what I basically want to try and do at this point is I want to solve a couple of problems here. The first problem that I want to solve is the weight. The weight, as I said, this case is 18.5 pounds all by itself. So it's made of heavy steel. It's a good case. It's a nice solid case, but it's heavy. Also, the drive access is not good. So, and the platform is very old. So with the new system, we're going to do a new case. We're going to reuse the power supply. We're going to upgrade the platform to something that's a bit newer. The current platform also has only 8 gigabytes of RAM in it. We're going to double that to 16. So that's basically what we got going on here. So let me go over a few things real quick. I want to show you how much of a pain in the ass this is to deal with at this point. I've kind of left it go because I've not had to replace any of the drives yet. But the 2 4 terabyte drives are getting close to like 7 years old. So if I've got to replace them, which I'm assuming I'm going to have to, it's a royal pain in the ass to deal with this. So again, I'm going to show you real quick here some of the problems that I have with this system, and then we'll move forward to what we're actually going to do is for basically a new look and a new situation here. Okay, so I'm going to show you real quick here. Hopefully this will come through okay on the video. Let me go over to the other camera here real quick. There we go. Okay, so here's the deal. First of all, this front comes off a little bit here. And then you've got, as I said, you've got these screws to deal with. Here, these thumb screws. Granted, they're thumb screws, so they're reasonably okay, but you've got to undo 4 of them on each side to get the drive, get a drive out of the system. So, for example, if I take and I undo these here, and I undo these, okay, so we've got those out. Then on the other side here, I have the same set of 4. So that's 8 thumb screws that I have to deal with to get the drive cage out. That's the first problem. So after we do that, then the drive cage will come out. Like so. And there's a fan inside this that keeps the drives cool, and it plugs into a Molex connection, which is another problem. So I can get that out of there. Then after I get this out, then I have screws for the drives themselves that I have to get out. So not only do I have to deal with 8 screws to get the cage out, and then I'll have to do with 4 screws on each drive to get the drive out. So this is a pain in the ass. And we're going to solve that with the new build. So anyway, that's what we got going on. Let me get to what we're going to do for hardware on this sucker, and we will go from there, and I will see you all shortly. Okay, so let's start with the case. The case that we have here is an Antec VSK4000. It is a bit smaller than the previous case. It's also significantly lighter. The case itself is about 11 pounds. So we've already shaved off 7.5 pounds just by changing the case. Nothing very special about it. It's kind of, you know, it's no frills. We don't really need a whole lot here. And yes, it's all steel color inside, but you know, when you have the cover on it, you're not going to notice it anyway. Plus, without a side panel window like the other one had, I don't have to see the mess. But in any case, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's fairly bare bones. There's nothing really all that great about it. There's really no cable management to speak of. The power supply mounts in the top. So, you know, not anything spectacular. But we don't need anything spectacular. This is a NAS. It's going to sit on a shelf. It's going to do its job. And that's it. So, anyway, that's the case part of it. There is one addition we are going to make to this case, just so that you know that, which will help with the drive problem, with getting drives in and out of the system. This is going to help a lot. I'm going to show you that next. Okay, so this is the item that we're going to add to the case. This fits in the space of 3 5.25 bays and allows you to put in four, there we go, get the hand up there, 4 3.5-inch drives. So this is what's going to go in there. Get this opened up. I'll show you this really quickly. Okay, it's got a nice fan on the back. It's got 2 Molex plugs, which is okay. And it's got our 4 SATA connectors on the back of it, so that, you know, we can plug this into here. Basically what we have is we have a hot swap bay. So all I have to do here to change the drive is to put it in the tray and stick it in. And that's going to take care of everything for us as far as having to replace drives are concerned. So not a bad piece. We're going to be putting that in into the box. So once we've got that taken care of, let's go move on to the platform, and we'll go from there. Okay, so our platform is going to go from a A5400K, which is a 2-core processor. That's all it is. No hyper-threading, nothing. It's very old. We're going to go from that to a Ryzen 5 4600G. Why this one? Well, I was looking for a 4-core processor, but this was on sale. And this was on sale for, I believe, under 90 bucks. So it was a winner. I'm going to put that on this Prime B450M motherboard. And we're going to have 16 gigabytes worth of silicone power DDR4 3200. So it's going to be a significant platform upgrade. Is it going to really do anything to performance? No, I don't expect it to. But in keeping with my own philosophy that if I have stuff that's here that's running off of DDR3, which is what that current NAS is running on, I'm purging anything that has DDR3 in the house. Anything that's left here, it's going to go to recycling. It's gone. I don't want to deal with it anymore. It's time to move on. So I'm going to get all these put together. I'm going to put them in the case. I'm going to put that hot swap drive cage in there. I'm going to install the drives, and I'm going to boot up the system with the same thumb drive. That was the other thing. The NAS software that I use runs off of a USB thumb drive. So theoretically, I should be able to do the platform, put it all together, everything in, get the drives in, stick the USB stick in the back of the machine, make sure that it boots from there, and essentially nothing should change. But we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's what we got. I'm going to get moving on to building this all up and put it in the case, and we'll do all the wonderful fun stuff. All right, that's pretty much it. We're not going to be putting an NVMe drive on this system at the moment. As I said, it all boots from the flash drive. So basically we have it set up. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to just make sure that everything powers up correctly, and we get a post on this. Okay, I've got a power supply hooked in. I'm going to turn power supply on. So far, nothing's doing anything, which is fine. And then we're just going to jumper the pins and see if this thing gives us a signal. There we go. We got it. So we do have a post. We're good to go. All right. So now it comes time to build up the case, get the motherboard in the case, and get everything finally assembled. So let's get to that one right now. Okay, as noted earlier, we do not have really any cable management in this case, so we're going to have to kind of wing it as far as how we're going to route everything. But first things first, we want to get the motherboard in, so we'll get that in first. Probably the power supply. Let's see how that works out. Next step, it looks like I think we'll try to do the hard drive cage. Everybody remember these things? You can cut yourself real well on these, so be careful. here's our next problem. The way this thing is configured with all these plugs that are sitting over here, once that cage goes in, I don't have any access to it from here. So I've got to plug in all the cables first and then put the whole thing in. Also coupled with that issue is they do give you the 4 SATA cables that you need. Unfortunately, they're all black. So once I put the cables in and shove them back in here, it's going to be a little difficult to figure out who's who. So I'm going to have to tie these off in 2 separate bundles and try to keep track of them. So this will be fun. All right, I think we're there. We're going to have to see how this shakes out. Okay, one last thing I need to do is I have to take the 2.5 gigabit network card out of the old machine and put it in the new one. And now I've got to go into the BIOS here and disable the onboard NIC so that when the system comes up, it finds the right thing. Onboard devices, that's it probably right there. Okay, HD controller. Okay, Realtek LAN controller. Ones that's on here is a 1 gigabit. We're going to disable that. There we go. 10. And then hopefully at this point it will try to boot from the USB stick. Okay, there we go. We have to wait for the NIC to do something. All right, so there we go. System's coming up. Hopefully it will not give us much trouble. Okay, looks like the system's up. And if I go to my web browser on my main system, you see that there it is. It's up, it's running. At this point, we should be able to log into it. And there we go. We're up and we're running. Both RAIDs are still there. Everybody's happy. So we're good to go. I'd say that's a winner. So let's conclude this video here with a few more thoughts. Okay, so that's it. Project's done. Got our removable drive bays now all set to go. System is again up and running as I showed you previously. Things about this. Well, ran into a couple of issues. First issue was that I couldn't get this to fit through the front bezel. I had to take the bezel off, put this in first. Oh, and also make sure I had all the cabling wired to the device first before I shoved it in. So we ran into those problems. Beyond that, not much else really was that terribly difficult. It looks a lot better, at least from the standpoint of it's a bit smaller, it's a bit lighter. We shaved about 7 pounds off of this thing, so that if I have to take it off the shelf and do anything with it, at least, you know, you really can't see any of the internals, so you don't have to look at it and see how ugly it may truly be. But other than that, it's good. I actually kind of like it. But at least now, if I have to replace a drive, this is going to be so much easier to deal with than the other case. The other case I had to half tear apart just to replace a single drive if that were to happen. And as I said, there's two 4 terabytes, there's 2 8 terabytes. Both the 4s are in RAID 1, both of the 8s are in RAID 1. I haven't had a failure yet with either of these drives. They're all NAS kind of certified drives, or at least that's their supposed marketing place. The two 4 TB drives are HDSTs, which they don't make anymore. I think Seagate might have snatched them up. I don't remember. But the two 8s are Seagate Iron Wolf drives. So 4 TB are 6 or 7 years old. So although NAS drives are more durable, I'm still anticipating a failure at some point with one of the 4 TB. And I was really not going to look forward to having to do this and rip the older system out. So I think this wound up being a lot better. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully it was at least somewhat educational. Beyond that, I don't know what else to tell you. There'll be another video hopefully soon. I'm still working on how to turn a couple of I don't know if it's falsely marketed or deceptively marketed mini PCs that Carrie Holzman was kind enough to send me. So I still have to work on those. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought, but they're hopefully coming up soon. This one was a few hours project, so that was easy to do, quite frankly, even though I ran into a number of stumbling blocks along the way. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up if you like, subscribe if you like, if you're not subscribed, and you know, just overall let me know what you think. Anyway, thanks for staying with me, and have a good day.